on in, everybody. It is time for the Mo Vaughn podcast, which, of course, is powered by Perfect Game and the Vaughn Sports Academy. Very excited, Mo, to get to our next guest. This man is one of the best to ever do it, ever grace a field. Kenny Lofton joining us here on the podcast. Kenny, thanks for the time. Really appreciate it.
Kenny, thanks for coming on, bro.
Thank you, brother.
So, let's talk about some important things. But, most importantly is, your greatness. You're a great player. You played for a great team and a great organization with some great players. And we're gonna amplify. We're gonna show that. We're gonna show the importance of a leadoff batter, what that does for a ball club. I think we're gonna explain it and make them understand it. But first and foremost, for you, tell me about your grandmother, man. Tell me about your grandmother. I think that's important. The reason why I say it is because, I was blessed. I was blessed to have two parents that were around. Tell me about your grandmother and how important she was to you in your success.
I believe she was my rock, and she was the person who taught me a lot about life. Taught me a lot about you're gonna always not have all of your senses. My grandmother, she was blind, so for me to be able to be raised by a blind grandmother, understood, and it taught me a lot about you don't have to have everything in life to make things work. And she taught me the values about what's important, what's not important. And she also I had a lesson of me being very structured. I was because being if people don't understand, when you be around a blind person, things have to always be in order. The chairs, the table, the sugar can, the rice can, everything had to be 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's the only picture she had to do everything she did around the house. So my life was very structured, and I give that to her, and she, whatever she wanted me to do, I did it, and she wanted me to get my degree. I got my degree because that's what she wanted, and again, she was my rock.
Man, let me tell you something. That was not what I was expecting. Was that what you were
No,
expecting?
not at all.
I mean, wow. I'm just, what, I love to look back when guys come on, the notes in the background. I think they're very important. The early life notes, I think they're very important for viewers to understand. I was just thinking, the grandmother upbringing, the fact that she was blind is just unbelievable, and you were able to make things happen. Kudos to you, bro. Kudos. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Kenny, could you give some insight, how, baseball, how did she watch you? I mean, obviously she didn't watch you. Did she listen to the games? Did you describe, how was that love there with her from that situation?
Well, it was pretty funny. Growing up, she used to go to all my games. They took her to all my games, and she always had this whistle. So she said, can you get to the plate when you hit the ball? When I blow the whistle, that means you keep going. You keep going. Don't stop. So, and when I hit the ball, I used to hit, a lot of triples. So all of a sudden, I used to hit the ball in the gap, and you hear that whistle. I keep going, and I end up getting third. And then they were explaining to her, what happened, and she'll say, he hit the ball to the outfield, and there that whistle go, blowing, blowing, blowing. Then I got to third, and they told her I was at third, and she stopped blowing. So, but it was pretty fun just to. But I think what touched my heart, because I grew up in the Chicago area, and she was a Cubs fan. For some reason, her favorite player was Jody Davis. I don't know why, but her favorite player was Jody Davis. Jody Davis. And for me to play for the Cubs, at that time, she was around. She was alive. She passed away in 2014. But for her to know that I was putting on the Cubs uniform, and for her to be at the Wrigley Field, that was a big plus for my career.
You're, I mean, you put so much stress on your opponents in so many different ways. I wanted to know, being one of the best athletes on the field, was it more enjoyable playing those mind games on the base paths or some of the robberies that you had in defense? Because, I mean, I imagine, like, there's so many times your opponents must have thought, oh, we're good, and then you just make it not good.
I can answer it for him. It was terrible, man. Listen, I sat there at first base. First of all, I had to play in because this was a guy that if you played back, he could put it down. If you played up, he's going to hit it by you. He knew the game and the strike zone. And, like, we'll just get into it now, The leadoff batter of any great team has a leadoff batter. I just want everybody outside hearing this. You have to have people that what I call are table setters. That's what makes the guns, the 3-4-5, the machine, that 3-4-5, artillery work. This guy you're playing up, he hits it by you. You're playing back, he puts it down, and he puts it down in the right spot to where he's going to be safe. Plus, he's got electric speed, so that's that. So now you got this guy on first base. So what do you got to do? You can't throw any breaking balls. So he, Albert, Manny, all these guys, Jim told me, they should be giving him part of, any trophy they got, he needs to get half of it. Because he was on the base causing that distress. And I used to be like, oh, man, please don't walk him. But damn it, don't let him hit it either. And he had power too. Like it's just, I hope people out there understand how important table setters are to the greatness of the game. That's why we're going to talk about later. This guy should be in the Hall of Fame with his numbers. But he was just that guy that did everything. And, there wasn't a better guy. Ricky Henderson had tremendous stats. But, right behind Ricky was, this was Kenny Lofton doing everything, playing defense. Kenny, talk about something else, man. You were also an all-state high school basketball player, right?
Yeah, I ended up, playing both sports, but the way I grew up, I had to get a full scholarship. And basketball was the only, at that time, was giving full scholarship, not baseball. So I ended up going to the University of Arizona on a basketball scholarship because I couldn't afford to go on a baseball scholarship. And I played with some great guys, Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott, Tom Tolbert, Jeb Bushler, Sean Rooks. All those guys were on my team. So, me trying to go to the NBA with those guys, I always tell people, me being the point guard, when I passed the ball, it's like a black hole. You didn't get it back. So for me to try to, for me to try to, hone my skills the way I wanted to as a point guard and as a playmaker, it was tough because I had some superstars, NBA players on my team. So I just felt like baseball was the opportunity for me. After my junior year, I ended up working out with the baseball team, and some scouts saw me. A scout named Clark Christ, he saw me, and they ended up signing me that summer, and played minor league baseball for 3 years, and then I was in the big leagues because I just did what I had to do.
Okay, you went to the Final Four in 1998 with Steve Kerr, right?
Yeah, 1988, we went to Final Four. We played against Oklahoma. That was the year that Kansas played against Duke, and with Danny Manning had that great March Madness run, and they won it all.
And then in your your second time starting, you took the Wildcats to the Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, we went to the Sweet 16. We lost to the Running Rebels at that time when they had.
I was playing that. What was that? Larry Johnson and them?
No, that was before. That was Stacey Augman.
Stacey Augman, okay.
That was Greg Anthony.
Yeah,
they were on that team. So it was they ended up winning that year or the year or two after. But they were the Running Rebels.
Just so you know, one more fact before we get moving on the topic. This guy, Kenny Lofton, is the only guy in Major League MLB history to play in the World Series and in the Final Four.
Two
World Series
in
the Final Four.
It was two people.
Wow.
Only two people ever. And we went to the same high school. He was older than, he was only two people to ever play in the Final Four and the World Series.
Wow. Wow, very good.
Well, Kenny, I'm curious. So, like, you mentioned that junior year of college, like you went over to baseball. So, like, was there like a gap where you kept did you keep playing in the summer to keep your tools sharp, or were you just that damn good?
No, it was a gap. I mean, I end up from my junior year to my senior year, I played 2.5, 3 months of minor league baseball. But during that time, I went to the gyms. They had a gym in Auburn, New York, and I went to the gym and I was shooting and just more so doing shooting. I couldn't play no pickup games, but I was shooting and run up and down the court. And as soon as the school started, I left minor league ball to go back to finish my last year of college basketball.
Wow. Man, I mean, this is
That's like
it's like Bo Jackson and all these other guys. You know, you doing all that stuff with the basketball and it's not easy. Like you know, trying to bang hit that baseball is the toughest thing to do in the world. If you over there running around, he had to pick a sport to like get to college, and he did that. Then when he got there, working. What a great athlete. What a great athlete.
Was there any part of you that like had, I know you mentioned the talent you had on that Arizona team, but was there ever a part of you that thought about, man, I wish it would have gone NBA? Like, have you ever thought about that, the what ifs of if I would have gone that route down to get that sport? Obviously it worked out well for you.
Yeah, it did work out, but I think I was trying to compare myself to guys that was on the court during that time, or I was probably thinking of a Patrick Beverly, that type of a player who was havoc on defense, and he scored, but he wasn't the scorer, but he was like Mo said, the table setter. He was the guy to get things going, and when you needed somebody to get roughed up a little bit, I would have been that guy. So I'll say like a Patrick Beverly, but baseball worked out for me.
So your perspective, Mo talked about it, but when you were on those base paths, but like take us there. Like when you really wanted to take over a game, like what goes through Kenny Lofton's head when he knows he's like, okay, time to flip the switch here. I'm on base. I'm ready to wreak havoc on the base paths.
Well, like Sandy Alomar always said, Kenny, when you go, we go. So I just had to have that mindset because I had to almost take a step back from my own individual game to help the team game. And getting on the base pass, and people say he get on the base, he creates havoc. Yeah, because when I'm on the base pass, the pitcher is a little rattled. You want to rattle the pitcher up a little bit because, a lot of the pitchers try to paint the corners, and when you got him a little rattled, he couldn't paint the corners.
That ball tails back down the middle.
Right down the middle, and those guys behind me, again, they reaped all the rewards from what I was doing the base pass because the pitchers got a rattle and they wasn't doing their focus of what they needed to do at the hitting the strike zone because I was on a base pass. But like Mo said, the guys, I feel they need to give me a little bit more credit than what they did or what they have, because I was the reason why they got the ball right down the middle and were hitting all those home runs.
Absolutely. He did it. He was the guy that made it happen.
And for me, and if I felt like if I couldn't do it on the plate, if I didn't get a hit, I'm trying to stop somebody else from getting a hit in the outfield. I'll say, okay.
And you robbed me. You took some stuff up against the wall against me a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? Like what are we doing, bro?
I said, bro, don't hit it to my area then. Better hit it to Manny, or you hit it to Albert. Don't hit it toward me, because it's a wrap.
Well, how well did you know Walls? Because like you have like some Spider-Man stuff that's out there. Like that is, now today kids are seeing that. I see Kenny Lofton highlights almost every day on Twitter, just of like, remember this robbery and all this stuff. It's cool that stuff's living on like that, but I can't believe some of the ways you're able to scale those walls and figure these things out. Like, is that knowing your parks? Is that just instinct? Like the home run robbery ability?
It was putting the work in. You have to put the work in. And I always tell guys that I was saying, practice. I used to go out doing batting practice and get my timing because it was called the warning track. And I always tell guys, I never ran into the wall to where I'm hitting the wall like I didn't know it was
hurting
there.
yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I see guys nowadays, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Basically, you go out there and you practice. It's called the warning track for a reason. There's a warning that the wall is coming. So you go out there and you time your timing of where once you hit that dirt, you know exactly how many steps you're going to take before the wall's going to creep up on you. So I made it seem easy because I put the work in, I put the practice in to where I know how many steps it takes to hit that wall. And I know when you're at Wrigley, don't even worry about that wall because it's
Don't hit it.
concrete. So you know that. So you got to put the work in, and that's what I did.
Those small details though are so fascinating. Like I remember like watching Juan Pierre would just spend like hours just rolling balls down. Like how do you I guess find interest in the monotony of that? Like you're trying to catch every advantage of how a ballpark work, how the grass is going that day, whatever. Like did you like that stuff, or was it tedious as your career went on?
Because again, it ain't tedious because again, I wasn't the big guy, so I knew I had to do all the little things to make it work. So it seemed like it was tedious to you, but I felt like it was being smart for me. I understood that, so I understood in the outfield, I saw what hitters were doing. I saw if the guy was late. A lot of little things, the intricacies of the game, a lot of people took it for granted, but I did it. Pitchers did little things on the mound when they're going home or when they're coming over the first, or sometimes pitchers did something when they were throwing curveballs or fastballs. All those little things I took into play, and I took it to my teammates. I could have, said it for myself, but I was a team player. And I think that's why when I went from one team to the next team, doing the playoff run, we went to that next level because the little things that I did, I put them in a position to for them to do better. Like when I was playing with the Cubs, Kerry Wood was tipping his pitches and he didn't even know it. So I ended up telling him, "Hey, bro, you're tipping your pitches. This is what you're doing." Then he started doing
Why didn't you tell me that before? Because I'm playing against you. I can't tell.
Yeah, I ain't saying nothing. I only do it when it's necessary.
Getty,
Yeah.
let's talk some important things. And I'm gonna ask you something else. 299 batting average. What the hell? You couldn't put another bunt down and get this thing rounded up to 300?
Man.
Come on, bro.
Man, that was tough. I didn't even know it was to that point that I thought.
299.
Well, I thought after my last year, 07, I thought I was going to have another year.
Okay.
And the Cards didn't step up right. They were, the baseball was doing some kind of weird thing with getting older guys out the game. And for me, I wasn't going to let them do that to me. I wasn't going to go out there for marbles, in which I deserve more. The year before I finished, I think I hit 300, and then they tried to not pay me the money. They trying to pay me like a rookie. I'm like, I'm not putting up numbers like a rookie, but you want to pay me like a rookie? I said, I'd rather walk away.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did.
2,428 hits. 781 RBIs. 622 stolen bases. You are a 6-time All-Star, 4-time Golden Glove, 5-time AL stolen base leader. In 1992, you hit 285 stolen, 66 stolen bases, and that was the all-time rookie record. You are a member of the Cleveland Indians Hall of Fame, and we think you should be into, the Cooperstown Hall of Fame. What great stats did you have, man? Unbelievable career.
Well, thank you. I just, again, like I tell guys before, I just do what I do. I know thyself. I know who I am as an individual. I wasn't trying to be Albert Bell. I was trying to be Kenny Lofton. But if I look at it the way they look at baseball now, they basically telling kids to hit home runs because they're not going to pay you to steal bases. They're not going to even pay you to have a high average. So, but I took a lot of things aside and said, you know what, I'm just going to be me. And I felt that if that's what's not going to get me in the Hall of Fame, I don't know what I can do.
Let me ask you one more thing, which I think is important. When you took your lead, did you know how many steps that it took between your lead and the base when you were stealing?
And every time. I already had that down pat. It was like...
You knew exactly which step, how many steps you are slide safe.
Yeah, so I knew because, again, people don't understand. I did preparation. So when doing batting practice, I always did my own steps, and you probably didn't know. I put a mark
No,
out.
I knew the mark. I knew where the mark was.
I put a mark out in the grass area where my lead is, where I know my right foot had to
Need to
get
be.
to. Yeah, that was my comfortable lead at every single ballpark. So no matter what, if I started off getting there right away, or I wait for the pitcher to start winding up or whatever he was doing, I knew exactly before me to for me to take off. I knew exactly where that right foot needed to be.
Base stealers always have to be in a position where they're at their optimum lead, but can slide back and get under the tag, always to the back of the base. You were that guy. But it always seemed like the great guys that stole bases, they had a certain lead that they wanted, a technique, and when they knew they had it, they were going to be safe. You were that guy.
I just felt like I say again. I put the preparation in. I put what the pitcher's going to do, and sometimes I peeked in on the catcher. So a lot of little things I did to help my success rate of stealing bases.
So Kenny, we talked about Mo said Hall of Fame, obviously. What's this process now going to be like to get you in, man? Where like what is, because I guess there's a committee and whatnot because of how the ballots work, and I never know what the hell's going on with these ballots. Sometimes they come back with no votes. They don't feel like voting for nobody. Then all of a sudden, somebody's making a stance. People won't vote for some people because they don't want a unanimous Hall of Famers. So now we're on to this. Like, can you explain to us what do we think is the next stages to get you in?
Well, it's the Veterans Committee right now, and they changed the veterans. So after 10 years, you jump on the Veterans Committee, and then because once you get off the other ballot, either you're on the ballot for 10 years or you get off the ballot, and then you wait for the Veterans Committee. So after 10 years, you wait for the Veterans Committee, and my 10 years came up when Fred McGriff got in. So when Fred McGriff got in, they changed the way the Veterans Committee put people on the board. So they only allow 8 people on a Veterans board. And then I guess the media put those guys on the board. And then they have a committee that has you go out and vote for those 8 players. And if you get 12 out of 16 votes, you're in the Hall of Fame. So, but it only happened, but now, before the Veterans Committee came up every year, now it's every 3 years. So Fred McGriff came in 2022, and now that was my first opportunity, and I didn't get on that board. So now the next opportunity this year is the 3rd year again. So hopefully I get on that board to be looked at, compared, and all that. And if not, I got to wait 2028. So you got to keep. So now it's every 3 years they get to vote, and it's only 8 players that they get to vote on. And it's every 3 years. I know I got about a little bit of time. Maybe I can walk to my car and then go pick up my daughter. But
we're gonna push that for you. We're gonna push that for you. You deserve it. We're gonna figure out how to back you on this thing. One more thing that we gotta talk about. What's this? Tell us about this slug ball.
Oh yeah, the slug ball is a cool thing. Again, for me.
Like, how does it work? Talk to us.
Well, me not being a home run hitter, slug balls, you put a team together, in which it's all about having a camaraderie, maybe your college friends or your people who you play with, or maybe some ex-players that wanted to play. See, slug ball is not about home runs. This game right now is all about home runs or strikeouts. Slug ball is an area where you can put the ball in different, it's almost like a cool setup to where you have a target you got to try to hit. So if a guy guys who know how to work the bat can have fun with this and not think about home runs. You can be a guy who can't, because you don't have to run. So all you got to do is get there and place the ball where the targets are, and you have a team against another team, and whoever gets the most points, you win. You go to
so
the
where
next
do you play it though, Kenny? Where do you play it?
You play it at a ballpark. It's like batting practice, but it's batting practice with targets.
Oh, listen, I got a 13-year-old son. He's got your body. Plays shortstop, lefty. We need to always talk about the game the right way. So this may be helpful for him. About handling the bat, all the things that, even I did as a big guy was really trying to handle the bat, with power. But yes, that's a great thing. I got to check this out.
Yeah, so we just got to put a team together, and you go out there, you compete against other teams, and see who can get the best score. But again, it's not about home runs and it's not about running. It's about working the bat.
Okay.
Kenny, do you, from your standpoint, do you miss, like, in today's game, you feel like, they put always now the best hitter and leadoff. Do you wish, like Mo said, that they could construct lineups like they used to, like strategically having guys who can put so much pressure and set up your other boppers in the lineup?
The game has changed. It's all about home runs. So that's what this game is about. Analytics is putting this game on a whole new category, and I don't think it's good. But again, analytics and making money. They basically saying average, you're not going to make money. Stolen bases, you're not going to make money, but you will make money if you hit home runs. This
Kenny,
OPS,
I agree with you, but you and I both know the teams that have won the World Series the last few years have had old school managers, built the old school way. All these people trying to put their best batter in second position or lead off, unless you're the Dodgers where you can refer back to your third batting with Freddie Freeman. That's the only one that it's worked with. But I believe guys like you and your style is coming back. I think people are wasting a lot of money on the analytics. They're not coming up with the results that they want. And then you turn around and you look at a team like the Milwaukee Brewers with a smaller payroll than most of everybody else, but the ability to score runs and have the best they have the best win-loss record in the game to this point. So I think your style is coming back, and we're going to push you into the Hall of Fame. And you have done great things, my man. Thank you for coming around.
No problem. Thanks for having me, and glad I'm enjoying your show, and keep it up, brother.
Yo, listen, you tell Albert, we ain't enemies. We ain't never been enemies, and we ain't enemies. He getting on the show too. We got to talk.
Woo. All right. Well, good luck with that.
All right, bro. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you, guys.
All right.
There you go. Kenny Lofton joining us here on the Mo Vaughn podcast, which is always powered by Perfect Game and the Vaughn Sports Academy. Hey, man, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, there's no doubt about that, Mo. I mean,
he's got the numbers. Listen, wasn't his type of player, but for being as an opposing player, the amount of havoc that this guy caused in that leadoff position. Is it Ricky Henderson better? Maybe he has better home run numbers. But this guy was unbelievable. He should be there.
Why didn't you ever steal his mark? You couldn't mess with it?
No, I didn't know it by the mark that he left. I knew it by where he was standing when he was going.
Mm.
Like I was like, he's out of here. You could throw over you could throw over 5 times in a row. He was going. You could see that at first.
Well, appreciate Kenny Lofton stopping by the show. We will talk to you guys next time.